What makes a brand stick? What makes a brand memorable and equips you with practical strategies to create consistent, authentic, and emotionally engaging branding across all marketing channels? Let's check your brand recognition, and you're welcome to play along by guessing in the chat box, which you'll see why in a few seconds.
Yeah, and I should have tested this before because we want to make sure that you can hear this sound.
Yes.
I am so sorry. Do we? No, it is a setting. Test speaker, switch phone, leave audio. Bear with me. Audio, microphone, headset. I'm not sure you're going to hear this. Can someone in the chat let us know? Because we're actually going to use the chat, so please make sure you have that, because we're going to do a couple of tests what you know about the different brands. So this is the first one. Can someone in the chat let me know if you can hear this?
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it either. Okay, so we will skip that, but that was a little sound. And so let us just try the next one then and see if you can figure out what brand is this. Yes, so someone had a guess. I'm not going to tell what people are guessing because I want you to think. But Angela, thank you for guessing. Anyone else? What kind of brand do you think this is? Okay. The next picture is not going to show the brand. It's just going to show a shape. But when you see this, what is this brand? Yeah, Angela, you were right just looking at those bubbles. So with that bottle, because all it is a glass bottle, but we all know what brand this is, don't we? It is Coca-Cola. Okay, let's try another one. See if you can put it in the chat. We're just showing two colors. Can anyone guess in the chat what brand this is? It's gonna help if you are from Florida. Because if you are from Florida, you will most likely guess that this is the Gators, University of Florida. And yes, Angela, you guessed as well. With just these two colors, you guessed that this was the Gators and University of Florida. And very often that's all you need, okay? Let's try one more. What about this one? Come on, people. Let's guess. When you see this coming up, and it usually shows up on TV, and usually within just a few seconds, at least because I pay attention to brands and how brands are shown. What about if you see this same company? Does it put you a little bit closer? Children's Place, she's guessing. And this is the newest one. This is the newest ad, and you actually can see on his name tag that this, yes, is Target. And if you listen to the news this morning, yes, this morning, you could hear that they have told all their employees that they have to smile and um, get eye contact with any of their customers if they are within 10 feet, and if they are within 4 feet, the employees have to talk or interact with their customers. But again, you did get most of them here, or Angela did get all of them. So what is it that makes a brand stick? So we need to understand the elements of what makes a brand memorable. And it is a difference between a brand and a logo. Your brand is not your logo. It is the feeling people have about you. So let's look at a few things about what we call a sticky brand formula. Number one is emotions. How connect through values and stories, and not the features, just not the features of your product. It's more an emotion. And then differentiation. How are you standing out? What is it that is clear and unique in your voice about your brand? And repetition. Consistently building recognition over time. And then that's a repetition, and it makes it consistent. It's the same message, tone, look across all platforms. So when you do this, when you're setting this up for yourself, it doesn't matter how big or how small you are. You just really want to make sure that you are not all over the place. You are going to look so much smarter and so much more clear in your business and in your brand if you just take a few minutes to look at all of those. So define your brand essence. And we can start that with the mission. If you go to a website, you're going to see a lot of this. Why do you exist as a company? And what do you think that your company and your product services are going? What is the values? What is the values you stand for? And if your brand was a person, what would it be a personality of it? And you need to clarify for your audience, or clarify for yourself, your audience. Who are they? What do they care about? And what problems can you solve for them? In this part here, if you go back and listen to our old webinars when we talk about content and how to connect with customers and future customers, we talk about that. How can you solve problems for them? And then we also have the promise, the brand promise. It should be simple, memorable statement that captures the unique values. So Chloe is going to talk a little bit about, look at Nike and Starbucks. What are the few things here that are different that stands out for you, Chloe?
So we have the mission statement for Nike, which is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And they add, if you have a body, you are an athlete. For Starbucks, their mission statement is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. So these are two very different mission statements. One's, for obviously coffee, hospitality, and Nike's for sportswear and lifestyle. So they have they evoke very different emotions when reading them. Their vision for Nike is to remain the most authentic, connected, and distinctive brand in sports. And Starbucks' vision is to establish Starbucks as the premier purveyor of the finest coffee while maintaining uncompromising principles. So two very different, but relative visions for each company. So personality wise for Nike, bold, empowering, competitive, energetic, and fearless, which makes sense for Nike. Starbucks is warm, friendly, community oriented, and welcoming. So just this kind of shows you how the different emotions in each one will speak to you based on what you're reading. If you were to read these without knowing what the company was, it would give you an idea of who that company is without actually seeing it. Do you have anything to add, Katrine?
No, that's good. It just interesting. After this webinar, I hope you go out and look at what other companies are doing when it comes to their branding.
Yep. So for example, with Easy Marketing, we do branding boards for all of our customers and for ourselves, where we have our logos, different types of logos for using them in various social media posts, graphic designs, etc. We have the specific fonts that we use and the list of exact colors that we use. And then we also use brand descriptors and relevant hashtags using the company's mission statements, values, etc. This is another example of somebody's branding board that we created. And then we just have a couple more there. Yep. So try to make them unique to everybody. So this is one of our clients, Keystone Engineering. You'll see we have their main primary logo, and then we have logo variations. So the small keystone is, the keystone of the logo based on their company. They're an engineering company. We'll use that on things like a QR code, put that in the middle. And then depending on the type of thing that you're creating, you use whichever logo works best on that. We have their certain fonts that they use. They have two very specific fonts that we use consistently, so that when anybody sees their post, they have a consistent color, consistent logo, and a consistent font look overall. And then we have their hashtags and brand descriptors.
And I also want you to add something with the branding board. That might be really clear to you if you are the owner of the company, but if you ever ask someone else to come in, if you hire someone like a marketing person, when we take on new clients, the first thing we ask, do you have a branding board? Because then we know exactly how to do. Many of the clients we have don't have that clear. They might have a logo, but that's the first thing we would do before we start and take them on to manage their social media and their online marketing. So you're going to do an example here, I think, Chloe?
Nope. First, we're going to talk about their social media. So this is Keystone's LinkedIn. And then we have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you'll notice that on each of the profile images for Keystone, we have used the same look logo, but different variations of it to work inside of those profile pictures. And some are square, some are circle. So you just want to make sure that things look right when other people are seeing them. Now we're going to talk about using templates. So in Canva, this is where we do most of our work and where your branding board really comes in handy. You can upload every aspect of your branding board into Canva, specifically in their brand section. So you can see here, we kind of have it listed out. You can see a handful of the ones that we have here. We'll click the brand button, click the client that you want to use, their logo variations pop up, their main color patterns, and then the full color palette, which you can then take with a design. So on the next slide, we have where you pick at the top design. Then this is where millions and millions of templates are that Canva provides for you. So here I've typed in construction. I just chose the first template that came up. And then I went through the branding board, shuffled through the colors until I saw something that I liked. I chose that, and then I went and changed deleted. They always have basic information like at really great site, 123 Anywhere Street. So remove all that, add your information, and add your logo. So very simple. Took me a few minutes just shuffling colors and changing the logo. And now I have something branded specifically for Keystone.
So by setting that up, the brand, what is it called? The brand, it's not called brand board, it's a brand kit. That's what it is. So once and for all, yes, pull in the right colors from your logo and the few key elements you have in there. If you could see, we had QR codes that we have for them and so on, and we can always pull those out. So when we start with something, we always have that, so it's perfect every single time. So I just wanted to mention something, and Chloe started to talk about it, how important it is to have all of these variations of the logo. The ones to the left, you have the one in vertical, horizontal mode, but sometimes you don't have that much space, for example, in a circle for the logo. So therefore we have the stacked one. And then we also have some that are just black and white that we overlay over images sometimes. And I know from the webinar we did last week, there was a lot of people asking, where do you get a logo? If you're going to order a logo, there are a few things you need to know that you're going to need. You can make logos kind of in Canva, but they are not going to be what you're going to, they're not going to give you what you need in the long run. I'm going to go over this quickly. You can look at this video later on and take a look at it. And I'm also going to give you a download, because if you hire someone to do your logo, this is what you want to have from them. You want the full logo. You also want the full logo with a tagline. Many of you have had taglines to the logo, which is just great. It's not a logo, it's a tagline, but make sure you order that with it. And then we already looked at the icon only, maybe just the words. You want the horizontal, you want the stacks. You absolutely want to make sure that the logo you're ordering work in full color, but also in black and white and grayscale, because you can create the nicest logo and you have it in color on a piece of paper. Anytime someone put that invoice or anything in a black and white laser printer, it might not look good because you might have faded color and it's not going to look good. So you need to look at all of that. And you're also going to ask to make sure you have transparent background on those. You really need all of these different versions. The vector files, those are the files that you can make the logo 1 by 1 mile big and it's going to be clear. Those you usually can't see open up unless you have special software, but you still need it, because if you are going to send something off and create a sign for your door, banner, they're going to ask for a vector file, and you should have asked for that when you order your files. I'm not going to go into this more in details, but it's going to be on that form. So I have a couple of examples of clients, what we did after we created the logo. So we had the branding board, and then we created a full set of different for this client. So we created business cards, letterhead, envelopes. This was a postcard. This is the threefold brochure. We created a website. They had signs on their doors. We had logos standing for shirts to be made. And it was all going out from this branding board. You could see that over time you might need all of these things, and the branding board here, which also include the description and the hashtags. Here's another company that we work with. We did have done brochures, shipping labels, slideshows, websites, all kind of things, big backdrops. So all of this goes back to all of that. So you need to take a look at all of those things. And all we talked about today is we have a checkup list. So you can go to our website and you're going to find the link in the follow-up email after this webinar. But it is at easymarketing.com/webinar. You can download this checklist of what we talked about today, and you can see, do I have this? Do I have the mission? What do I have in here? So take a look. And we also have the list of what you're going to look for when you create and purchase a logo. But again, the logo is just part of your brand. Also, when it comes to brand and branding, you know, for ours, you see this lime green that was part of when I made the logo 18 years ago. And I had to have something more than just the logo. So whenever I purchase anything, I don't know how small I am in the picture, but I have often when I do presentation, I have a lime green shirt. I have my earrings. I have a necklace. When I ever buy anything for my office, I make sure it's lime green. One day I needed a briefcase for my computer. I could choose anything, but when I'm coming and doing presentations at the chamber or something, I always drag around this thing because, oh, they can see that I'm coming. I don't use all of these colors in private life, but I do it over there. So we hope that you think about the visuals that looks consistent across all platforms, both digital and in your store. Make sure next time you go out that you take a look and see what are other companies doing. Chloe, do you have any companies where you go in and think like, oh, this store really has a consistent platform?
Yeah, I think about Publix mostly. They have everything feels like Publix to me when I'm inside of Publix.
Yeah, their fonts on their signs are always the same. It's just a consistency that is giving the whole place a thing. And if you're using Canva and you see um, all of those different templates you can use, don't go crazy. It's nothing good with having all kind of fonts. You have a message to put on when you are posting and creating brochures or social media posts. The important thing is that they recognize it's you. The logo, the color, the tone, and even the fonts. And you also want to make sure that the messaging reflects your values and your tone is authentic and that you can kind of describe your brand in one sentence. So that is what you are looking for. I think we have time for some questions if you want to, so you can put that in the meeting chat. If not, you can always contact us afterwards. And we do have one upcoming webinar this year, and that's going to be in December. And that is going to be about content marketing, what to put in your content, how to make sure that you're following your brand in there. In January, we are going to look about how to use Canva. And at that one, we are absolutely going in to show you how to use Canva's BrandKit. And then in February, we are going to look at email marketing and see how that really can be used for your advantage in your business. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, you're going to get a recording of this and a link to those 2 documents. And if you haven't done it before, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our newsletter. So you can scan this code, but of course you can sign up when you get the emails today as well. So thank you and have a good Thursday.
Thank you.